Welcome, beloved souls. Welcome back if you've been here before. This is Vivia from Your Soul as Well. Today we are talking again about astrology. We are talking about the new moon in Scorpio. You can see it's happening right here at 28 degrees and 11 minutes of Scorpio. So I'm going to do what I always do and break down the archetype. So let's talk about the archetype. Let's talk about the archetype of Scorpio. Scorpio is a fixed water sign. It is receptive, is therefore making it feminine. It's ruled by both Mars in the traditional setting and Pluto here. We now find here in Aquarius. In modern day astrology, the glyph of Scorpio here represents the Scorpio's tail and its sting, a very apt symbol for Scorpio. So because it is water, it deals with the things that are beneath the surface. It is always the realm of the unconscious mind, of our emotions, our intuition, our psychic receptivity. Often you will hear that Scorpio is associated with the word intense. Intense comes up a lot. A lot of astrologers will use this word to describe Scorpio, and that comes from this depth of perception, this ability to see beyond the realms of the physical into the deep emotional, psychological realms that are invisible to others. It's everything that is unseen. It is the occulted world. It does deal with taboo topics, sometimes our deepest, darkest desires. The Scorpio realm, the Scorpio archetype deals with the process of death and rebirth, destruction for the point of regeneration to build anew. And this new moon has a lot of this built into it because there is this water trine with all of these planets here, particularly the ones here, the new moon, the sun, Mercury at 28 degrees, and the water trine that has formed here. Now, so a few other things, this 28 degree, this chart has so much that has been building into it, because we can see that through the planets that are all at the later stages, the last decans and the later degrees of their sign. The stellium here in Scorpio, of course here Neptune and Saturn in Pisces, Uranus in Taurus, and Jupiter here in Cancer. So two of the planets are at their anaretic and critical degree, one being Uranus at 29 here, 29 degrees, and Neptune at 29 degrees. These ones are exact. As planets go through the degrees and they get towards the end of their sign, it's like they're accruing their knowledge and information, and it's just building and building until it gets to a certain potency, particularly the 29th degree, being that it's the last degree of that sign, holds a lot of that information. It's considered a difficult or critical degree. It's a hard degree to hold and is considered a crises degree. So these both here are at that degree, and the sun, the moon, and Mercury are all readily approaching that degree. At the time of the new moon, it's at 28:11 degrees. And another thing to note, Mercury is making a cazimi here with the sun. So it is in the throne of the sun, the seat of the sun. And so it's going in, and in itself, it's being rebirth. So there's added emphasis of rebirth and regeneration in this chart, especially for the areas of your chart that are ruled by Mercury. But Mercury in general rules as precedence over your mind, your communication style, immediate family members, close friendship, short distance travel, your vehicle of travel, primarily your car. This speaks to me of a very internalized and introspective new moon that we can use for our benefit to, help us have greater understanding of self, or awareness of perhaps certain situations, or even, communication styles or relationships, important relationships around us. Now, another thing that points to the building of this energy is the Grand Water Trine. This water trine is here with all these planets here in the late degrees, the moon, the sun, and Mercury of Scorpio, late degrees of Scorpio, forming a trine here with Jupiter in Cancer at 25 degrees. And then again, Neptune and Saturn in Pisces. This water trine in our own personal lives flows very harmoniously and benevolently, but also it can bring up things that need to be addressed. Again, it's going to depend on where it falls in your own particular chart. It can bring up things that need to be addressed in our own lives, our own emotions, what we're dealing with in terms of our own instinct and what we personally know as our truth or intuitive information that's coming in. Because remember, as we go along on our path where we are now, where humanity is at now, we are awakening to higher consciousness, each individually, but also as a collective. And we're starting to really awaken to our potentiality as humans and who we are as we go along our path. And so for many people will be awakening to their cosmic consciousness, their intuitive abilities, their dormant DNA awakening. And so this is kind of a crescendo to that, and really bringing this forth. There is a configuration of a kite here with Uranus in Taurus at 29 degrees being at the apex, forming the minor Grand Trine between Uranus to Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, Jupiter in Cancer, and then coming down with the apex being these three planets here at 28 degrees. So wherever the Uranus is the apex, it's like the energy kind of being funneled or siphoned to that point. So remember that Uranus is the wild card. It's events that come out of the blue and can shock or surprise us, really can blindside us. With these planets here opposing Uranus, I mean, that represents quite a bit in your chart, right? The area of your life as ruled by Cancer is here in this particular chart in the 9th house. So this would be for all Scorpio risings as well. And then the sun would be Leo. So that's your 10th house. And Mercury is going to be your 11th house of Virgo and your 8th house of Gemini, which is the natural Scorpio house. So all of these houses in your own personal life are being affected. So find those houses in your chart and see to where this falls, because it's being affected here by this reversal or change or something sudden out of the blue happening that is unexpected. Again, that Uranus opposition signifies some type of unexpected disturbance. But remember that Uranus ultimately wants our liberation. So whatever it is that it is affecting in your life, it could, obviously, if it's out of the blue and a shock, it's going to help birth something new. Scorpio is about our rebirth and our regeneration. It is all about the phoenix rising from the ashes. So ourselves rising from the ashes after a sudden twist of events that can affect us in a way that we cannot perceive, that we will not see. So Scorpio deals with our shadow side, everything again that is hidden underneath the surface. And it deals with all that is hidden, things that are secretive. But again, it's also about this hidden power and depth to ourselves and to the situation that is being involved in this Scorpio new moon. And this whole chart is about releasing this energy that is being pent up, releasing this energy that has been built up. And this is this point of the apex of this kite that is doing this. And it's this, again, this point of freedom that is helping us to work through the emotions that are coming up and whatever we see. Now, normally new moons, after a certain period of time, 2 or 3 days, I would recommend doing something new, using this moon to start something new, but this might not be the best new moon to embark on newness. The moon always is in its fall here in Scorpio, and Venus is in detriment. The moon rules over our emotions, nurturing. It'll cover one area of your chart, certainly, and that's the Cancerian house. In this chart, again, it's the 9th house. So it's our psychology, our inner psychology, even more because it's the moon and emotions. It's our bodies. It's our nurturing tendencies. It could be dealing with mothers and our matriarchal lineages, ourselves as mothers. And Venus deals with relationships of all sorts, as well as money and finances and wealth building and aesthetics. So it might not be a good time to embark on things that deal with that, because new things, because these planets aren't strong right now. And the added element of Uranus opposing the 3 planets here at 28 degrees just adds this other element of uncertainty, instability, and perhaps even recklessness because of its very nature. Now, keep in mind that your chart is individual to you, and this might be aspecting in some really great ways. And so nothing in astrology is really set in stone. And just, again, this is a moon of instinct and intuition. Use your instinct. Use that intuition to your benefit. And if you feel that this is not good information for you, definitely use always your own insight, your own intuition. Because Uranus and Pluto are still an aspect. It's out of sign, but it's still an aspect. There is still this undercurrent of turbulence and of uncontrolled energy. Pluto is the ruler, after all, the modern day ruler of this Scorpio new moon. Together, these two, Uranus and Pluto, they're really revolutionary forces. They can be, again, quite sudden and profound, either with Earth events as well as within our own lives, like the things that might happen in our lives, again, very unseen and unexpected, but very lasting and very transformative, and might not be gentle. Let's put it that way. It could be, it's like all of these dormant forces within us, within our earth, have been suppressed, and now they're all bubbling to the surface, and they're just ready now to erupt. But just remember that whatever it is that happens, it's here to eliminate anything in your life that is not serving your highest good, for your highest evolution, for you to walk the path that most supports your highest growth, and which leads you to the higher timeline, if you will, of how you need to show up now in the world, who you need to be, who you are becoming. So whether this is intense events in the world, which I do see happening actually, and primarily it's because of the outer planets being an aspect, we will have lots of change over the next few years. We have been having lots of change. And the slate being wiped clean and a new world being born, especially since next year, Saturn and Neptune will conjunct at 0 degrees of Aries, which is so symbolic of a new world being born and things being primed for that new world. Soon after, by Friday, I believe, the moon will conjunct Mars at 12 degrees. And then shortly after that, Mars is going to come into a T-square with the nodes of fate. So the ruler of this moon, the traditional ruler of the moon, is Mars in Sagittarius. So Mars being fiery and Sag being a fire sign, they work well, very well together. But conjuncting the nodes, considered the nodes of fate, this is the nodes of fate, right, as we know them. The South Node here in Virgo, helping us release any type of perfectionist tendencies, OCDs, or anything that holds us back, perhaps even with our health. And the North Node here in Pisces, bringing us into the future, helping us with compassion, having a more optimistic spiritual point of view. And I just seek compassion, empathy through this, especially with Neptune being here as well. And a square is a challenging aspect that forces us to grow. It forces us to deal with what is in front of us, what is appearing, and then it builds character. It helps us let go and release things that no longer serve us. And it could do it through conflict, especially when Mars is involved. So the South Node has already been going through, and the South Node goes through like a broom and sweeps things up, cleans it up for you, gets rid of anything that is no longer necessary in your life to make room for what is necessary. And this is going to be particularly evident when Mars comes into a square with the South Node and the North Node. That's a T-square. That's a difficult energy, but necessary nonetheless to help us move along our path and discard whatever parts of ourselves, parts of our lives that are no longer working. So I would like to read the degree from the book, The Inside Degrees. I'm going to read the 29th degree of Scorpio, because when we're at 28, in 11 minutes, we round up to the next degree, which is 29. And it is an umbilical cord. Definitely completely attached. But what you are attached to changes drastically each time it is to the source of sustenance. If at first a mother womb, an elemental past, it can easily become later on a great teacher, a path, a journey. You are still thoroughly, personally hooked into the sweetness, the juice, the power. Yet, as the levels shift, as the attunement deepens, you go from destructive enmeshment towards incredible openings. As you learn to cut loose from each last thing and to move towards the next greater thing, you become adept in the rough process of inner soul work. You have an extraordinary aptitude for taking the most binding and heavy duty circuits and moving into and through them, grasping hold of the guiding influence of ever greater circles of allegiance, leading eventually towards mutation and evolutionary breakthrough of the first magnitude. This makes sense to me on so many levels. This is really such a profound chart, how it impacts me. And it is important for us, like it says, to, like, as we grow spiritually, and this is this North Node here, we are always compelled to release the past, release what has been, and that's the South Node, and to release and to move into the new. And that's this new energy of Scorpio, this new introspective, contemplative, deeply psychological new moon of where we have been, right? The moon is always about the past, and the sun is about our future in terms of breaking down archetype to its basic blocks. And so a new moon is always about the moon in the past, in the sun coming together to move us into the future, especially here with an added element of this Mercury, of our intellect, our communication, another aspect of our mind. It's really how we relate to our mind and how we relate it in relationship. And it's about cutting loose from each last thing in order to move into the new thing, to become the greater thing, and to become adept in the rough process of our inner soul work. So for me, Pluto is always about the soul, and being this modern day ruler of Scorpio, it just resonates so, it's such a level for me. And evolutionary breakthrough of the first magnitude. It's leading us towards this mutation, which Pluto represents, an evolutionary breakthrough of the first magnitude. Now, keep in mind that this is not an easy chart by any means, especially with the ruler of it moving into square with the nodes shortly after, especially with Uranus opposing it and aspecting Pluto. It does speak to massive changes in ourselves, in our psyches, in our world around us. But it's just like how the saying goes, God does not give us what we cannot handle. And just remember that in the days to come. Also remember that this date of November 19th or 20th, 2025 is just the date where the planets align. It doesn't mean whatever is going to happen is going to happen on that date. It could happen on that date. The seed of it will grow 6 months out in the full moon that happens on May 1st of 2026. So 6 months to even 18 months out with the cycle. So anywhere from now to 6 months to a year and a half from now, we could see things developing from this. So again, if you like my work, please subscribe to my channel, hit the thumbs up, please leave me a comment. I love reading your comments, and all those things really help the channel to grow. And I really appreciate your help. I wanted to also talk to you that with the exception of Pluto, all of the outer planets are in retrograde. This is an added emphasis of going within and having introspection, and because when the planets are retrograde, they tend to act that way more. So now I'm going to break down the all signs. So watch for your sign. Remember that your rising sign will be the most accurate in terms of where things are happening in your life, if it's going to affect your relationship or your money, or it just depends on actually the time of your birth determines that. And then the second thing you want to watch for is your sun sign. Your sun sign is more exterior, the exterior world, your goals, perhaps some things to do with your work. And then the moon, your moon sign is going to be a reflection of your your inner psyche, your inner landscape. So watch for all three to get a more comprehensive view of how this new moon is going to affect you in your life. Okay, I'll see you on your sign. Okay, Scorpio, I have already covered lots for you, but this new moon is focused right here in your first house of self. It is all about you, Scorpio. It's how you present yourself to the world. It's how you identify as yourself. It's your personality. It's that ego state for you. It's your physicality. The first thing that comes to mind is referencing not necessarily doing anything new, particularly for you, Scorpio. Like if you're thinking about doing anything cosmetic, changing something up, now might not be the time with Venus being in detriment. This is not necessarily the best time for that. It is a really great time to kind of assess where you're at, particularly where you're at with other people. Uranus being in your house here of other, there could be some disruption here with relationships. Or maybe you're reassessing and reevaluating what your relationships mean to you and what kind of relationships you want to be in, how they affect you. All of this is coming up for you. Now, when I had mentioned that Uranus is disrupting these areas of your life that the moon, the sun, and Mercury rule over. And I had mentioned already, Mercury is your 11th house of higher networks, higher money, your friendship groups. And this plays in here with this Uranus in your 7th house. So maybe disruption there, especially since the South Node is moving through this house. So the South Node is kind of eliminates things and changes things. So this could be happening for you, really changing up your friendship groups, the networks that you belong to, the communities that you get involved in. And the North Node is here, so maybe more time being spent with children if you have them, perhaps trying to have children, maybe children coming into your world. And if they do at this point, this with Saturn being here, this could be like a very karmic relationship, maybe an elder returning, very, significant that way for you. But the other house that Mercury rules over is your 8th house. And this is a double placement and emphasis for you because it's Scorpionic, and Scorpio, it's all about Scorpio right here. And this is the 8th house. And the 8th house for you is about other people's resources, what you share with your intimate others. It could be sexuality. It could be, again, resources from any type of relationship. That it could be a business partnership or a marriage or a long-term commitment partnership, or it could also be just investments and residual income coming in. So that's being affected here by this Mercury, but now there could be sudden awarenesses and breakthroughs with that, with the Mercury Cazimi. The moon rules your 9th house, and so with this new moon, it's being affected by Uranus. This is your higher house of thought and your faith and your inspiration. So maybe sudden shakeups in your faith, in your philosophy, in your worldview, or maybe something to do with a course of education or that you were studying might suddenly change. So the apex of the trine with Jupiter here and Saturn and Neptune is in your 7th. So again, relationships, contracts, business contracts. So don't be too surprised if business contracts or something that you're trying to put through with other people falls through. That could happen, but it also could happen. Remember, things could happen for your best. Things are happening for your best interest, and things might happen that you didn't foresee. You couldn't possibly foresee that work out in your best interest. When the nodes square again, it's going to be here with Mars in your 2nd house squaring the 11th, the South Node in the 11th, and the North Node in the 5th. So again, it's asking you to move into perhaps greater creativity, taking on a project, taking on a passion, something to do with children, perhaps having children. Okay, Scorpio, so that is what I see for you in the new moon. Make sure to like and subscribe, leave me a comment. Thank you for watching and stay blessed, and I will see you on the next video. Hey, Sagittarius. Now, Sagittarius rising, this is happening all in your 12th house. So this is such... It's just really doubles down on this being so introspective for you because the 12th house is our subconscious house. Things could be happening in your sleep, messages from spirit. So just really paying attention to your thoughts. You may want to spend some time alone away from society. Like this could be a time period of deep introspection and reflection for you, especially with Jupiter being here in your 8th house. So So any newness that is burgeoning could have a lot to do with you just isolating yourself, being away from others. The peak of Uranus is here in your 6th house. So that's your everyday habits, your work. And then the trine, the mini grand trine is forming here. Neptune and Saturn here in your 4th. Again, Jupiter in your 8th, Uranus here in your 6th. So your 4th is about your home and your foundation and your roots. So things could be changing here for you. And it having to do here because this is the flow of the trine for you is here. And so needing to just contemplate where you're going in your life, what you will be doing, especially when Mars is here in your 1st house. Again, all about you, yourself, how you identify, how you see yourself. It will be squaring here to the South Node in your 10th and the North Node in your 4th. So the 10th and the 4th, the 10th is all about our public image. It is about how others see us. It's about our career, our reputation. With the South Node there, it's going through and it's eliminating anything that no longer serves you, especially when Mars comes into contact with a square. And then here, this North Node in your 4th is asking you to, get grounded. Perhaps you need to spend more time at home and take care of things that are in your family or in your home life. And this one last crack at the bat here with Saturn and Neptune here, placing that extra emphasis here and there on just getting really secure and grounded in your basis. And then that will maybe come to light with Mars squaring it. Mercury rules your 10th house, again, with where the South Node is, and your 7th house here of Gemini. So when it comes into Cazimi and it's opposing here Uranus, there could be some shakeups, some deep revelations around your house here. Your 7th house here is about relationship. It could be business contracts. It could be an audience if you have it, or a marketplace. And your 10th house is your public reputation and how people see you if you have a career. So things shifting in these areas. For you, the moon opposing, if it's the moon opposing Uranus is here in your 8th house where Jupiter is. So again, you might have some deep revelations or some type of instinct, sudden knowings around resources, other people's resources, finances, investments that you made, money that you share with others. So it's just time to, especially with this new moon and all this energy here in your 12th, to really take care of yourself, take care of your emotional needs, and really start paying attention here to what's going on internally with you. Don't pay so much attention, especially with the South Node here in your 10th house, to the exterior world. Pay attention more to your interior world. So thank you for listening, Sagittarius. Please like and subscribe. If you haven't already, leave me a comment. I'm so happy that you're here with me, and I hope to see you on the next video. Stay blessed, Capricorn rising. Okay, my Capricorn risings. This new moon is happening here in your 11th house. So the 11th house, it's our house of hopes and dreams, like the goals that we set, our vision for our life, what we want to achieve in our life. It's our higher house of money. It deals with our communities, our friendship groups, our networks. So this has a lot to do with other people in your life. And as I said in the beginning, it might not be a great time to embark on newness in this area of your life. If it comes along, go with it. And like, if it's happening, and it's right for you, certainly do it, and always follow your own intuition and instinct. But just know that things might not be everlasting with it, because you've got Uranus here really disrupting. So this new moon in this introspection, especially with Mercury being Cazimi and coming into the heart of the sun, you might have deep revelations about all those areas of your life, perhaps friendships or groups that you associate with, or perhaps new ideas around where you want your future to go, where you want to take your life, the visions that you are having. This is this 11th house for you. So you might want to revision and recalibrate your goals and where you see yourself going. This is a perfect new moon for that, going internally and really, having that introspection. The water trine for you happens here between your 11th house, your 7th house of other people and contracts and partnerships. Could be business partnerships or long-term partners like marriages or live-in spouses. And then your third house here of Pisces, where the North Node, Saturn, and Neptune are. So for you, it involves other people, your relationships, and how you're going to move that forward. So this is something building in these relationships and coming to this crescendo here. Now, Mars here in your 12th house, the subconscious mind, so you might have your dreams really activated right now, is going to come into a square with the South Node that is here in your 9th and the North Node here in your 3rd. Now, the South Node is one of the houses that is being affected by Mercury Cazimi opposing Uranus. So it could be disrupted here, this 9th house. Your 9th house is your house of vision and your house of faith, your philosophy, your belief system, your worldview. All those things might get shaken up. And as it should in a way, because the South Node is here traveling through it. And what the South Node wants to do is it wants to go through, clean up this house, prepare you. It's like preparing the land, fallowing it for the next crop. You can't plant a crop in land that already has a crop. So that's kind of like what the South Node is doing. It's going through, clearing it up so you can replant here. So your worldview, your philosophy, what you believe might change. It also might disrupt any type of travel plans or any type of higher education that you have going on there if you do already. So Mercury also rules your 6th house here of your everyday habits, of your work habits, of if you have a job, if you have employees, if you have small pets. So things in that area might change too. So keep in mind that this is your house of health with Mars here in your 12th house of also chronic long-term health and isolation. It's a good time to really take into consideration, are you taking good care of your health? Are you doing what you need to do to take good care of yourself? The apex of the kite for you is here with Uranus in your 5th house. So it could be insights and disruptions around your own creativity, your children, relationships with children, could be romantic endeavors or romantic partners. Those kinds of things might be shaken up, but shaken up isn't always bad. Sometimes we just need a change, right? So don't look at it as bad. Just look at it as change, and life is about change. We need to embrace it. And the flow here too of the mini Grand Trine is again your 3rd house with the North Node. And remember, the Mars will be squaring the North Node and the South Node. And a square is a challenging aspect that forces us to grow. It forces us to deal with what is in front of us, what is appearing. And then it builds character. It helps us let go and release things that no longer serve us. And it could do it through conflict, especially when Mars is involved. With the North Node and the planets here in Pisces, your 3rd house is about your immediate environment, your neighborhood, wherever you're living. It always deals with your communication, your style of communication, how you're speaking, to whom you're speaking, things you're reading, your writing style. So because Mercury is going Cazimi and there's this opposition here to Uranus, you could have revolutionary new thought, great new ideas that you want to bring to the world, especially with this 11th house and all this action in this 11th house. Keep in mind, it's not necessarily the time to bring it out into the world with Moon and Venus not being at their strength, but revolutionary nonetheless, of ingeniousness. This is your 3rd house of thought, of communication. You might want to change where you live, and it could also deal with relationships that deal with your siblings, cousins, and even close friendships. So now, as well, the Moon rules over your 7th house where Jupiter is in, and this is being also affected by this Uranus. So this 7th house might have some disruptions. So relationships, business contracts of any sort, if you have an audience. So those kinds of things. So change is on the horizon, and it's obviously best to embrace change, but it doesn't have to be bad. I think the more that we flow with it and go with it, the easier it will be. Okay, Capricorn, thank you so much for listening. I hope that I've helped you. Please like and subscribe and leave me a comment. I will see you on the next video and stay blessed. Aquarius rising. The new moon is happening here in your 10th house. Your 10th house is a very public house. It's at the top of the chart. Everyone can see it. It could involve your career, your public reputation, how you're seen in the world. Now, again, I will emphasize it's not the best new moon to start anything under, but there could be a lot of introspection for you going within about how you are being seen in the world, what is happening for you, how you are showing up. You could have sudden, with this Mercury here, sudden new ideas around where to take your career and the things that you could be doing in your life to further your goals in terms of your career, especially with Mars here too in your 11th house. So Uranus is here in opposition in your 4th house, and the 4th house is all about your foundation, your home, your emotional security. It could involve mothering or your mother herself. And because it is opposing the moon, there's a double emphasis there. And the sun too, like parentage, parents in general, not just mother, but parents. So maybe some shakeups with relationships with your, well, it could involve a lot of people in your life because Mercury is here as well. So just know that things could be changing for you in terms of relationships, but it doesn't have to be relationships. Again, the moon just signifies our inner psychology, our emotions, and the sun is more about our external reality, our goals. And again, this is the 10th house that it's being placed in. So I just will emphasize that for many of you, it could just deal with your own career goals or how you were seen or how you were visible in the world. And again, Mercury is going to be in Kazemi here with the sun. So new ideas, new thoughts that will help move you forward. The apex of the kite is here in your 4th house. So again, just bring you back to grounding, maybe a lot of breakthroughs coming through. And if anything is sudden or shaking you up, it is about helping you get grounded, helping you get back to having security, your own internal security, a really safe haven at home. Those kinds of things you're being helped with. Now, Mercury rules your 8th house where the South Node is, the 8th house of Virgo where the South Node is, and your 5th house here where Gemini is. So the 8th house where the South Node is, and this shakeup, this just further emphasizes change here. You should have already been experiencing change in this 8th house that deals with other people's resources. It's kind of like I've heard it being called the hodgepodge of houses because it deals with so much taxes, debt, insurance, things coming due. It is the natural house of Scorpio where all this energy here is being emphasized. And so for you with the South Node going through, it's just really, and then again, the emphasis with Uranus here, it's just really emphasizing the need to let go of anything here that no longer is serving you. And if we try to hang on to things that are meant to leave, it could be money from a partner, or it could be a life partner or a business partner or some type of investment. It could be, again, about debt or taxes, or just needing to let go and letting spirit reshape our lives the way it needs to flow. Because if we don't, it just gets harder, especially since Mars is going to come into a square here with the South Node and the North Node. And the North Node wants to move you into standing on your own 2 feet, supporting yourself, financing yourself, valuing yourself, really, really having value for who you are, what you bring to the table, and not needing so much from others. So try to keep that in mind if this house changes for you. Now, the other house is the 5th house, and the 5th house is about our children, our creativity. It's about romance. It's about risk. So there could be changes there for you as well, given that Mercury is opposing Uranus. The moon rules over your 6th house here, where Jupiter is. So it could have some changes here for you as well. The 6th house is about your everyday habits, your work habits, your health habits, going to work, your place of work, having employees, being an employee, and your pets. Now, this house has already been highlighted for you since July because Jupiter has been in this house, but Jupiter is retrograde here now, and with the opposition with Mercury and Uranus, there could be something changing here for you. So keep that in mind. And again, it's better to go with the flow, as they say, and not try to hang on to things that are done and that we need to let go of. The water trine happens for you from the 10th, the 6th, and the 2nd. So it's work, public image, and your own money. So there's lots of flow and harmony for you here, and a lot of support for you to, again, support yourself, get on your own 2 feet, launch something of your own. Again, right now is not necessarily the time to do the launch. Maybe something is already in flow and it's been building, and you can work on it more, and maybe some great ideas, inspiration coming through for you here on how to do that. Okay, Aquarius rising, thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave me a comment, and I will see you on the next video. Stay blessed. Okay, Pisces rising, the new moon is happening here in your 9th house. Your 9th house deals with your belief system, your worldview, your spirituality, your faith. It can deal with foreign languages, foreigners, and foreign travel as well. Higher education also falls in here, and something new is burgeoning for you. Again, maybe not a great time to launch something new or do something new around this, but maybe some great new ideas coming through with this Mercury cazimi, some fresh insight, some perhaps inspiration to go traveling or to learn something new, or a complete change in worldview or your faith, especially since Uranus is here opposing these planets. Okay, so sudden changes in all those things, not necessarily all of them, maybe for some of you, but typically maybe 1 or 2 of those things might change. And it will be sudden, right? Sudden insights into how you see the world, how your faith is expressed, what you would like to take on and study, perhaps where you would like to travel. Now, Mercury for you rules your 7th house of Virgo, where the South Node is. And again, with opposition here to Uranus, maybe some things being changed around here for you in your 7th house of other people, of contracts, business contracts, legal contracts of any sort, relationships. It could be business relationships. It could be partnerships, marriages, boyfriend, girlfriend, any type of long-term relationship will fall into here, and the audience as well. So this is already being shifted with the South Node going through, but especially now with Uranus and Mercury in opposition, it's going to shake it up even more, as well as your 4th house of home and foundation, family, of inner security. So things are changing here for you, Pisces. Now remember that the South Node, that Mars is going to also square the South Node, as well as the North Node, which is in your 1st house. So the 1st house is all about self. With the North Node there, it's asking you to let go of other people, the relationships that need to be let go of. Not necessarily all relationships, but the ones that are changing. It's time to let go. It's time to focus time on self. It's time to focus time on taking care of yourself and being there for yourself. So that square is really going to emphasize that. So remember that. The water trine for you, this benevolent flow, is happening in your 1st house, again, of self, the 9th house of faith and world perspective, ideology, and your 5th house of creativity and passion, romance. So there's lots happening here in these houses, especially with that creativity and that passion. Just use that energy coming through with this Mercury cazimi to really, really influence this house and bring about the best projects and best passion projects that you can. Okay, Pisces, thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe, leave me a comment, and I will see you on the next video. Aries rising. This new moon is happening for you in your 8th house. Now, this is definitely, it places it's like a double emphasis of this energy, because the 8th house is Scorpio's natural house. You have a natural chart with Aries on the horizon. So that means that there's even going to be more emphasis being placed here for you, Aries rising, of all the themes I brought up. So go back and listen to the beginning of the video. It's really about your internal realm, your inner psychology. The 8th house is a very psychological house. It's the depth of Scorpio is found here in this house. And with all these planets here, this stellium of planets here, this Mercury coming into cazimi, you might have sudden realizations, sudden deep and profound life-changing realizations that might blindside you, because that is Uranus in opposition as well, right? About who you are, like how you're showing up in the world. The same Mars that rules this new moon also rules you here in your first house. And for many people, this could be very cathartic, very shamanic. This is a very shamanic house, and it could be unsettling, right? So make sure to reach out for help and assistance if you need it, to people that you are around you, people that you trust, because it could be startling and it could be very deep, and memories from the past might come up. You've got Jupiter, like this is flowing to Jupiter here in your fourth house of the moon, of the past. The moon is involved here in this opposition as well. So sudden, erratic memories from the past. It could dealing with your psychology. Some of them could be traumatic, right? This moon is a very deliberate, like it's a very potent, it carries a lot of potency with it, a lot of deep and profound transformation. And deep and profound transformation doesn't ever come easy. It's never an easy thing. It's something that comes with work, and it's something that can be traumatizing. It's something that we have to, like I said, work through. So just know that that is involved here, but that it's liberating, because this is here, and this is the energy that Uranus brings with it, is this energy of liberation from your past, from the tendencies that hold you back, especially since you've got the North Node in Pisces in your 12th house, which is reinforcing this. And that's this trine, this water trine here in your hidden water houses of depth, of emotionality, of your subconscious, of your lineage. So healing ancestral wounds is coming up, healing the lineage for the future and for the past. So again, with Uranus opposing Mercury, your 6th house here with Virgo, where the South Node is placed, might have some changes, as especially when Mars comes into a square with these two. It's going to ask you again to, maybe for you, it's going to be health habits, everyday habits, maybe something to do with work. Maybe some of you might have to take some clear time off of work to be able just to be on your own. That's this 12th house, and that's what the North Node is. Abstinence, time away from work, being alone, deep introspection, meditation, maybe going to retreats for some of you, especially with Saturn here, Neptune here. Some of you might just need to really get away from the everyday hustle and bustle in order to really use this energy of this water trine and bring into your life the stability and the inner security that you need. The other house that it will be affected here by this opposition of Uranus and Mercury is your 3rd house. And that could, again, be just shifts in your communication, right? And your thought process. Mercury is involved, and this is your 3rd house of your thoughts and communication, your immediate environment, especially for some of you that need to move away to somewhere, even if it's just temporary, to just get away from the world and just be isolated for a while, just to process whatever is happening. And the apex of the kite for you is here in your 2nd house through this planet Uranus. And the 2nd house is about your own resources, how you value yourself. For some of you, it's going to be a deepening of awareness of who you are, what your own true value system is, and a deep appreciation of self, of who you are and what you bring to the world. Okay, Aries, thank you so much for listening. Please like and subscribe and leave me a comment, and I will see you on the next video. Stay blessed. Taurus rising, the new moon happens for you in your 7th house. So the 7th house deals with other people. It deals with contracts, business contracts, contracts of any sort. It deals with your relationships. That could be a long-term partner, like a marriage, a live-in partner. It could be business partners, your contracts, it's your audience if you have one, it's your marketplace if you have a business. So things changing here for you, sudden aha moments for you with Mercury coming into Kasimi here with the Sun. Now remember, it might not be the best time to start something new, but deep introspection related to this area of your life. The shakeups could be with Uranus opposing Mercury are going to deal with your 5th house here, where the South Node is, and your house of Virgo. So the South Node has already been going through, and the South Node goes through like a broom and sweeps things up, cleans it up for you, gets rid of anything that is no longer necessary in your life to make room for what is necessary. And this is going to be particularly evident when Mars comes into a square with the south node and the north node. That's a T-square. That's a difficult energy, but necessary nonetheless to help us move along our path and discard whatever parts of ourselves, parts of our lives that are no longer working. And of course, the opposition to the south node is the north node, and this is this other part of the T-square here in your 11th house. So it's going to be less about your own creativity and your own projects, times that you spend time on, or perhaps romantic interests and lovers or escapades, and more about communities and networks and your long-term visions and goals. That's where you're being pulled towards. And that's what this square will emphasize for you, as well as the opposition here with Uranus and Mercury. The other house that is affected by this is your second house of Gemini, that involves your own money, how you resource yourself, your possessions, how you value yourself. So those things are going to be shaken up too. The moon rules over your third house where Jupiter is at. So there could be some change here for you as well. Maybe just a re-emphasis on communication style, or where you're living, or your most relationships with like siblings and cousins falls here. So maybe that being changed for you. And the water trine for you is the third house, the 11th, and the 7th. So these are highly relational houses of your immediate environment, siblings. And this for me is always the best friend's house. People you talk to on the daily is here. 7th house here of, like I said, business contracts, long-term relationships, long-term committed relationships, and 11th house of networks, friendships, higher goals. So that's where the flow is for you. So lots of positive dynamic action there happening for you. And the apex of the kite is here with Uranus in your first house. Uranus retrograde in your first house. This last dip of Uranus retrograde, Taurus rising in your first house. So use this to your advantage. Whatever shakeups, whatever sudden breakthroughs, it's all about you. It's all about yourself. It's all about your identity. Use that energy while we have it here for this next little while, and when it moves back into your second house. Okay, Taurus? I hope I've helped you. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, and leave me a comment, and I will see you on the next video. Stay blessed. Okay, Gemini rising, the new moon happens right here for you in your 6th house. Your 6th house has everything to do with your daily life, your work habits, your health habits, and it's opposing Gemini in your Uranus in your 12th. So if you're not already taking really great care of your health, something is going to come along and shake you up so that you do that. Are you spending too much time working? Are you a workaholic? Are you not taking enough care of self and the things that you need to do to nurture yourself and take care of yourself? That's the first thing I see off the bat. And changes in relationships with coworkers or your actual physical work environment, those things changing. For you, the Kazemi and is going, maybe ideas or how to communicate better through your work or your employees, if you have them, or your co-workers, that might happen for you. And with Uranus opposing Mercury, that's going to affect yourself, your whole self, because this is your first house of Gemini. So shakeups here with how you are, with your whole self, how you identify, how you present yourself, how you dress, how you present yourself to the world. Your core identity here it could be switched up for you. And the other house here is Virgo, where the south node is placed. So that's already being shaken up with the south node moving through here and cleaning this house up and eradicating whatever no longer needs to be there for you. But this is your foundation house, right? This is where you live, your home, and your inner security. So this is going to have a bit more shake up here, especially with Mars coming into a square with it, T-square with it, and the North Node. So challenges with your work, your public visibility, your reputation, and your home and your security. Expect that to happen for you, okay, Gemini? Now, it doesn't have to be bad, but it might be sudden and shocking and surprising. Because that's Uranus, that's how it operates. Now, the moon is also in opposition to Uranus, and that's your second house where Jupiter is found, and that's your possessions, your value system, your own money. So this should have been increasing as Jupiter moved through this house. And now it's in retrograde, going through this house, so perhaps a reevaluation of these things, but there's might be some changes here for you in that regard. And the trine for you happens with the second house, 10th house, and 6th house. So there's flow with these houses. And so things, again, flow into to use it to your advantage for your public reputation, through work, and through making money. All those houses are connected right now, making your own money and your security through your own money. The apex for you of the kite is here in Uranus in your 12th house. This is a very subconscious house. You might be having some really wild dreams. Some of you it might be affecting your dreams. Uranus in your 12th house can really affect your sleep. So you might be having really erratic sleep where you wake up in the middle of the night and might not be able to fall asleep. So that can happen with Uranus there. So use that to your advantage. Use your dream life and this time period to your advantage to bring about the best that you can right now through these other houses here that are being also aspected by this Uranus. All right, Gemini, thank you so much for listening. I hope that you like and subscribe. If you haven't already, please leave me a comment and I will see you on the next video. Cancer rising, the new moon happens right here in your 5th house. Your 5th house has to do with creativity. Your personal creativity and passion is here in this house. It's also about your house of speculation, gambling, romance, children, grandchildren are all found in this house. Now, it's not a good time to start something new. I would say with the moon being in fall, it's not the best new moon. I mean, if things start, they start. That's fine. Go with the flow that is already present with the harmony of the water trine happening, but don't necessarily start something new, right? Like a new romance or a new adventure, or even necessarily a new project. It might not have the end result that you want, especially with this erratic Uranus opposing this new moon. But this is the Kazemi happens for you in this house. So this could be a lot of deep insight and around a passion project or a child or some type of adventure or like something that you want to take on, perhaps an investment that you want to take on, all through in here in this house. Now, the opposition of Uranus and Mercury is going to affect your 3rd house of Virgo, where the South Node is moving through. So this house is already being affected by this South Node. And so there could be further change, further disruption. Your 3rd house has got to do with your own thought processes and communication, your siblings, the people that you're in your immediate environment, your environment where you live, your neighborhood. So some of you might move. This area of your life is being affected by this, as is your 12th house of your subconscious. Now, your subconscious, like this too, with Uranus and Mercury here, it could play into your dreams and you could use that to your benefit. And also with the South Node opposing the North Node here in your 9th and Mars in your 6th. The 6th is about work. With Mars there, it's really important right now to take care of your health and watch for inflammation because this is your 6th house of health, everyday habits, health habits, work habits, and daily life. And Mars coming into square with the North Node and the South Node, again, further emphasizes the change here in your 3rd house where the South Node is, but as well as the 9th house. So perhaps for you, this could be, really stressing some change that you need to make in terms of your faith, your philosophy, your world vision, perhaps going to travel somewhere. The trine for you is your 1st, 9th, and 5th house. So these houses are being highlighted. Your house of self, of creativity, of children, and your 9th house of faith. So lots of flow and harmony there. And the apex for you with Uranus here in your 11th. The 11th house deals with your groups that you belong to, communities, networks, friendships. This is this house. And just using this energy here, this breakthrough energy to access the information that is here for you. Maybe breakthroughs, it's something to do with your community, your networks, and also dealing with your goals and your vision for life. Thanks so much for watching, Cancer. I hope that I've helped you. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and leave me a comment, and I will see you on the next video. Stay blessed. Leo rising. The new moon for you happens in your 4th house. Your 4th house is all about your inner security, your stability, your home, your foundation, your roots, your past. So this new moon for you really deals a lot with letting go of the past, letting go of things that hold you back. And there's going to be shifts here for you in this area, especially with Uranus opposing these planets. Okay. Now, Mercury's Cazimi here, so you might have some really deeply introspective information coming through about your home and your inner foundation, your security. Again, it could deal with your past. It could bring up memories from your past. Because it's Scorpio that's involved, some of it could be what are considered dark memories or things that were traumatizing to us. They're being brought up to be healed. So just remember that. And there's a lot of benevolent energy here of healing with this water trine. So just keep that in mind. The water trine for you is your 12th, your 4th, and your 8th. These are deeply psychological, introspective, deep houses. So you have a lot of energy here for healing, the healing that needs to be done if things from your past that have been hidden in the depths come up. Now, because Uranus is opposing Mercury, your houses, your second house of Virgo, where the south node is going to maybe affected here. So the south node has already been going through this house, changing this house up. This house deals with your personal finances, how you make money, your own resources, your value system, how you value yourself. So this should be shifting for you. This should have been shifting for you since the middle of this year into the middle of the next year. And it's especially going to do this because of this opposition, but also because Mars will be squaring the south node here and then the north node here, creating a T-square that will want you to pull you away from your own resources and relying on the resources of others. Now, this could be an investment that you made that's paying out, some type of dividend, some type of residual income that you've built over the years, or it could be income, literal income from a partner, a long-term partner, or another person in your life. It could be a business relationship. The 8th house also deals with our sexual intimacy and things that are, again, are occulted, and it's a deeply psychological house. The other area that's being affected by this Uranus Mercury opposition is your 11th house of Gemini, and that's your friendship houses, your networks, your higher money houses. So sudden changes there, and these two houses all these three houses tie in with one another in terms of that one aspect of finances. So it could be just changes with finances or a vision perhaps of how you can move yourself forward in terms of your goals over life. The apex of the kite is here in the 10th house for you, which is all about your public image, your reputation, your career, if you have one. And again, some shakeups and things shifting for you. Okay, Leo, thanks so much for watching, Leo. I hope that I've helped you. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and leave me a comment. I will catch you in the next video. Stay blessed. Virgo rising, the new moon is happening in your 3rd house. The 3rd house is all about your thought system, your communication. Now, for you, particularly Virgo, I think that you might have some real sudden insights with this Mercury going Cazimi here about something that could be really big for you, especially with this Uranus, like a sudden breakthrough in maybe it's a sudden inspiration for writing or a new idea. It could be a mathematical equation coming through for you. Like, this could be huge for you. Just keep in mind that anything is possible. Keep your mind open. This is your thought house. This is your communication house. It could have to do also with changes in your immediate environment, changes in relationships with your siblings or cousins or the people that you see in your immediate environment, that changing. Now, you might get those sudden moments of inspiration that break through. It might not be, this is not necessarily the best new moon to start something new under, but you can start working on it on your own and doing with it what feels right for you, but not necessarily bringing it out into the world just yet. This might not be the best moment to bring it out under this new moon, but it's a good time to percolate it, to sit with it, to work on it on your own. So this Uranus is the apex of the kite for you, and it's in your 9th house, and that deals with your world vision, your philosophy, your faith. So that could really radically change. Something here could really radically change this area, this terrain for you. And then this opposition deals with yourself, your first house of self, your body, how you present yourself, who you are. And so the South Node has been going through this house already, changing up this landscape for you. So now more than ever, there's going to be change. There's going to be sudden change for many of you, especially, and I just urge you to embrace that change and go with that flow. There's so much harmony here with this chart and flow that is asking us to go with the flow of this water buildup, because if you don't, then when Mars squares it, it's just going to have this, there's going to be this tension producing aspect, which I've already mentioned that it is about eradicating anything that stands in our way for us to move forward, and moving forward for you in terms of relationship with the other, any type of contracts, business contracts, and relationships with the other. That could be a long-term partner, it could be that you live with, or just a long-term partner in general, and any type of partnership. It could be business partnership. So something needing to be moved forward here through the 7th house. The other house that is greatly affected by this Uranus opposing Mercury is your 10th house of your public image and reputation and how you were seen in your career. So just remember, like, right now is not the time to bring something forward. It could really affect you, and not necessarily in the most positive light. So just remember to Scorpio can be very deep, and it can be perceived as dark and, you know, menacing. And those aren't the ideas and what you want to be projected about yourself or how you want to be seen in the world. And again, the water trine for you is here with your 11th house, Jupiter in your 11th of Cancer, which is also being affected by this opposition here with the moon, right? So the 11th house is friends, friendship groups, groups of any sort, networks, your higher house of money, your goals, and your vision for your life are here. So that's being changed. It's being changed here too by this Mercury. So perhaps a higher vision for yourself and where you're moving towards. Your 7th house of other, and your 3rd house here of, again, communication, immediate environment. Okay, that's lots of change for you, I know, but you can do it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that I've helped you. Please like and subscribe and leave me a comment, and I will catch you on the next video. And stay blessed. Okay, Libra rising. The new moon is happening here in your 2nd house. Your 2nd house has to deal with your resources, your finances, your value system, how you value yourself. So something new is being born here for you. And like I said, it's more of an introspective, deep knowing for you in your 2nd house. Just knowing your worth, knowing your value, knowing who you are in the world. With Mercury being Cazimi in the sun here for this new moon, there's going to just be so much insight communicated to you about who you are in this world and how much value you have and how you are valued. So just keep that in mind and just sit with that, percolate in that, let yourself feel that, the unconditional love of the universe and how much you bring to the world. The opposition for you with Uranus here is going to affect the South Node that is currently in your 12th house of Virgo. So you have already been experiencing changes in this 12th house. This is all your subconscious realm. It could be affecting your dreams. It could be bringing up stuff from your past. It could have changed long distance travel plans or maybe even investments that you had on foreign shores. So now further disruption in this house. That could be, for some of you, disruption of sleep and information coming through in your dreams, through the spiritual realm, through the invisible realm. So just try to go with that flow. Use this harmony of the trine that is here in the chart to just let go and just go with that flow, because Mars will come into a square with the South Node in your 12th house and the North Node here in your 6th house, okay? So the North Node in your 6th house is asking you to participate more in life, to be available to your everyday life, to take care of your health, to watch your habits, to put really good, especially with Saturn here in this 6th house, to really, really put good habits in place, the structure that you need on a daily basis. This is what this is asking you to do. And especially when Mars comes into a square, if you're not already in that flow, it's going to be a difficult time. And it's going to really show you what you need to let go of in order to move forward in this area of your life. Again, the Grand Trine is your 10th house where Jupiter's at. And again, the moon opposing here, the Uranus, this house might have some changes in it as well. And the 10th house deals with your public reputation, how you are seen in the world. It could deal with your career, what you are known for in the world. Your 6th house, again, of daily habits, your work environment. And your 2nd house, again, of you, your values, yourself. Now, the apex is Uranus here in your 8th. All right. So changing in the 8th house is the natural house of Scorpio. And this is a Scorpio new moon. It is further emphasizing for you the depth of knowledge that might come through for you, especially with this Cazimi here that deals with your psychology, right? Sudden breakthroughs in your inner psychology, something perhaps that has to come up to be healed, and something to do with the past. Now remember that water trine is here, and it's benevolent and flowing, and it's helping with healing. Okay, good luck with that, Libra. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and leave me a comment. I love to read your comments. And stay blessed, Libra. Well, beloved souls, that is my video for the new moon in Scorpio. I hope that I've helped you all. Thank you for being here with me. And I will be back to do another video soon. Stay blessed, beloved souls, and sending you all lots of love.